similar would India be to some of the other emerging markets that you've been working with? And, what kind of changes have you been able to push through as far as the Scandinavian root and heart is concerned of IKEA's designs to be able to Indianize them?
Well, I think we are a Scandinavian retailer, and we have, from a range perspective, we really invest and protect and do whatever we can to build upon the Swedish profile, and it's very important for us, and that's the way we do business. But of course, we also have to have our eyes and ears open to what's important for the Indian consumers. And maybe it's less in terms of design, and maybe it's more, as you said, it might be a bigger need of services, home deliveries, assembly service that will be required by the Indian customers. But at the same time, IKEA is a cash and carry retailer. We always say that we do one part, you do your part, and together we save money. And that will be the base for the Indian customers. And I believe that there's going to be many customers that's going to appreciate that. But of course, there will be also them that requires a little bit more services. That's a little bit what we see in different places across the world where we're currently present.
Since you spoke about saving money, the Indian market is seen either as price conscious or value conscious. I don't know how you interpret that. But what is your own assessment as far as how you can price products in India and the premium that you will be able to exercise in this market?
Well, I think our experience so far is very similar to what you're saying, that the Indian customers are really interested in making a good deal. It may not mean that they have to have the rock bottom price, but they are really interested in getting a great value for money. And I think there we see a fantastic fit with IKEA, because that's what we are all about. And I think that will be very appreciated by the Indian consumers.
So how are you going to ensure that prices are competitive, and yet you maintain your margins and profitability as far as India's operations are concerned? Because, you hear all kinds of things about transaction costs being high and so on and so forth. Of course, labor is significantly cheaper here in India. But what are going to be those levers that will ensure competitiveness for IKEA in India?
Well, I think it's going to be similar levers as we see across the world. First of all, what we do when we design our product is we start with designing the price tag. And then we go from raw material to where we have the customers, and we try to make the total value chain setup as efficient as we possibly can, trying to get costs out of the system that doesn't create a value for the customers. And that formula is going to be the same for India. We are getting less air in our transportation and more products, trying to get efficient plot ratio for our stores, etc., etc. So, I think we believe that we can do that, and that's what we are investing time and money in right now, in getting preparedness for opening up our first store in 2017.
IKEA.com, how big is that going to be as part of the strategy in India going forward?
Well, I think it's going to be very important, and if you just look at globally, we have 1.9 billion visits online, and that's going to be, I guess, a very big source of inspiration for the Indian consumer once we launch that. And that's the way we see it. This is a way for us to reach out to the customers through IKEA.com, through social media, and in other ways that's relevant for the customers in order to have a conversation with them.
Sustainability is a big part of IKEA's ideology and philosophy, both through IKEA as well as the IKEA Foundation. What role do you see the IKEA Foundation playing on the sustainability front here, specifically in India? And ahead of COP21, how are you looking at things?
Well, true. We've decided to grow. We believe we're still small. We're still just at the beginning. However, we would like to grow in a way that's not only just less harmful for the planet. Actually, we would like to have a positive impact on people and the planet, meaning to live within and to grow within the boundaries of what's sustainable. We do that in a number of ways. We try to, we decided that by 2020 we will produce the same amount of energy as the total IKEA group is consuming. We've decided that we go all in making our materials more sustainable, starting off with cotton, where now 100% of our cotton is from Better Cotton Initiative, using less pesticide, using less water, improving the yield for the growers, etc., etc. And we're trying to stimulate the many people, the 1.9 billion people visiting our web, the 771 million that visit one of our IKEA stores last year, to make small changes, because if you have big volumes like we have, and you can stimulate many people to do a small change, together that makes a huge impact. And then finally, it is about also reaching out to the communities where we operate and try to be a positive force in changing the society into a more sustainable society. And that we do wherever we operate, like in India, where IKEA Foundation is present since 15 years and has donated more than 100 million euros to various activities to stimulate a better society.
How important is that for you, as IKEA, to actually have IKEA Foundation being closely integrated with your core business operations, to work with the communities that you hope to service, your addressable market? How core is that to your strategy? Because in India, while the government has made it mandatory for companies to look at corporate social responsibility, you've looked at it differently.
Well, I think the starting point of IKEA is the vision to create a better everyday life for the many people. It is not about selling X amount of bookcases or Y amount of sofas. It is just about that, creating a better everyday life for the many people. And that means that we would like all our people that are working at IKEA do so under reasonable conditions. We want all our people in our supply chain to work with reasonable conditions. That's why we have a code of conduct called iWay, where we document soon 200,000 improvements across the globe. And that's also why there's something called the IKEA Foundation. That's the charity arm of IKEA that then hands out and donates money to the people that need it the most.
What are you doing to ensure checks and balances here in India? We haven't had great experiences in the past, especially as far as some of the multinational retailers are concerned. There have been allegations of corruption and so on and so forth. What would you do at the Indian operation to ensure that you don't go down that same road?
It's a very good question. It's one of the reasons why we are so prudent in our introduction strategy to India, because of course we see that that's present on the market, and that's one of the conversations we've had since the start with the Indian government, etc. What can we do to protect ourselves from this? Because we definitely don't want to go there. It's completely against everything we stand for. And we've done numerous things to protect ourselves. We have a code of conduct, we have iWay, and we have also initiated to sign memorandum of understanding
with the state governments,
with the state governments on where we're supposed to open up stores, in order to have a common point of view of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And we will do whatever we can to do business in a sustainable way.
So let me ask you this, we've talked about the Indian accent as far as your designs and solutions are concerned, but what would be the most exciting aspect of doing retail in India? What are you personally most excited about?
Well, I think again, I mean,
the size of the market, of course.
Yes. But I came to India 20 years ago for the first time, and I've been here a couple of times since, and now again, it was a number of years ago that I was here before. Of course, just to come here and to see the Indian people, to visit our stores and to inspire the many people of how can you actually transform your home into a better home. That's what I really look forward to make our stores the destination and a fun day out of inspiration to the total family. That I really look forward to. And
so which categories are you going to focus on, given the feedback that you've got from the Indian consumer?
Well, I believe IKEA is for the many people, meaning we try to actually reach out to everybody. And then when it comes to specific parts of the society, We always pay special attention to families with children. I think we have a proposition that fits very well to them, and we have built the range together to be safe for family with children, etc. And I really think that that will be appreciated by the Indian consumers, but we'll have to wait to see.
So the number of stores in India by 2020?
Oh, it's very hard to say, but we have an
broad
ambitious plan.
estimation.
Well, 2020 it's hard to say. Maybe we could be at 25 stores 2025, but it's
25 stores by 2025.
Yeah, possibly, but it's a little bit early to say. I think we have to get the first, the second, the third store right and see that it works. But we have ambitious plans, and we really would like to get going as soon as possible.
Peter, we wish you the very best of luck with your plans for IKEA in India. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18.
Thank you.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up the CNBC TV 18 special from all of us here. Goodbye. Many thanks for watching.